My name is Lily Madwhip, and last night the door under my stairs knocked from the inside. It was a soft, polite knock. 3 taps, like a guest asking to come in. I was alone. The house was quiet, except for the old clock and the hum of the fridge. I held my breath and waited for the wind to explain it. The wind said nothing. That little door has always been strange. It's chest-high, painted the same white as the wall. We used it for brooms and holiday boxes when I was a kid. But I remember it for another reason. When I was 8, I drew a picture and taped it on that door. A rough face with a big smile. The eyes colored too dark. I called it Mr. 3. I don't remember why. I only remember the rule my mum gave me after she took the picture down. Do not open the door if it knocks 3 times, she said. If it knocks 2 or 4, that's me or your dad playing with you. But 3 is not us. I asked her who 3 was. She said, we don't say the name. We moved out a year later. I forgot the rule. I forgot the house. I grew up. I went to college. Then life did what it does. Got complicated. My mum passed away. My dad sold the new place. Got older and wanted to live near my aunt. The old house came back to me in a dusty envelope with a deed and a cheap key. I told myself I would fix it, sell it, and move on. I didn't expect the house to remember me. The first night back, I slept on a borrowed mattress in the living room. I wasn't trying to be brave. The upstairs felt wrong, like a stranger's. Dream, I kept the lights low and a small camping lantern at my side. I told myself the house was just old. Pipes, clank, wood pops. Houses sigh. Then the door under the stairs knocked. 3 times. Polite, patient, and sure. I stood up. I didn't walk closer. Instead, I said in a steady voice, wrong house. Silence. The clock ticked. The fridge hummed. I laughed a little. At myself, that nervous laugh you give when you almost scream. I put in my earbuds and watched videos until the sun came up. Nothing else happened. In the morning, I tried to be normal. I made instant coffee and found a box in the kitchen labeled Lily, old stuff. It must have traveled with us from house to house and somehow come back. Inside were school drawings, a cracked snow globe, a pink comb, and a small red notebook with a rubber band around it. My name was on the first page. Under it were simple rules in a child's handwriting. I had written them long ago. My letters were big and uneven. Do not open the door if it knocks 3. Do not say the name in a mirror. Do not count out loud. After midnight, do not follow the whistle salt the threshold. Every Friday, the page after the last rule had a messy drawing of a stick-figure girl, me, and a long shadow with 3 eyes stacked like buttons on a coat. Under it I had written, he likes polite things. I felt that old feeling then. Not exactly fear. It was the feeling of knowing you forgot to do something important and the deadline is today. I went to the pantry and found salt. I poured a thin line across the front door, the back door, and after a pause, across the floor in front of the little door under the stairs. My hands shook, but it felt better to do something simple. I worked until evening, pulling nails, opening windows, letting the stale air run away. I found 4 dead flies under an old curtain. I found my childhood height marks in the kitchen doorway. I found a marble under the stove. All the small ghosts of a family that moved away. At night, I set the lantern by the mattress again. I told myself I would sleep. I was wrong at 12:03 a.m. I woke to a sound like someone gently dragging a dull coin along the wall near the stairs. It moved slow, up and down, then it stopped. Then a whistle came to notes soft as breath. It came from the little door. It came through the salt. I covered my ears. The whistle came again, a little louder, the same 2 notes. It had the patient tone of someone who knows you will answer if they keep asking kindly. I picked up my phone with shaking hands and called my dad. He didn't answer. I typed a message. "Do you remember the rules?" I erased it. It sounded insane. The whistle stopped. Then 3 knocks. Polite, patient, sure. "Go away," I said, my voice too loud in the small room. "Please." A pause. Then a voice spoke from behind the little door. It was a girl's voice that sounded like mine when I was 8. "Lily." It asked, "It's me. I lost my marble." I looked at the green marble on the counter. I had found it under the stove. I could feel something in the words, how they sat wrong. That voice felt like a coat empty of a person, held up by someone else. I took the red notebook and held it against my chest. I whispered the rules. Do not open the door if it knocks 3. Do not say the name in a mirror. Do not count out loud. After midnight, do not follow the whistle. Salt the threshold every Friday. I fell asleep sometime near dawn, not because I was calm, but because fear is heavy and the body gives out. I woke at 9 to a message from my dad. "Your mum kept some weird notebooks when you were little. We thought you were playing. Be careful in that house. Your mum said the word polite a lot." I stared at that text for a long time. On Friday, because the notebook said so, I salted the thresholds again. I added a little sea salt I found in the cabinet, as if fancy might help. I cleaned more. I decided to face the upstairs. It was time at the top of the stairs. The hallway was narrow and dim. I moved slow, my fingertips brushing the wall. The second door on the right was the bathroom. Its mirror was spotted with age. My face looked tired and older than yesterday. I turned away, then turned back, and I don't know why I did it. Maybe to prove I wasn't afraid. Maybe because we are all a little foolish. I looked into the mirror and said, clearly, the name I did not remember until that moment, Mr. 3. The sound left my mouth like a cold weight. The light flickered. The bathroom smelled, for a second, like damp leaves. In the mirror, I saw my own mouth move, but my reflection's eyes did not blink with me. They stayed open a little, too long, polite and unhurried. Then everything was normal again. I stood very still and listened to the house breathe. I went back downstairs. I put the red notebook in my backpack, like it might try to run away if I didn't. I made tea and held the hot mug for courage. The day was quiet. No whistles, no knocks. The salt lay on the floor like a thin chalk line. I began to think I had done something dumb and nothing would happen. That thought made me happy and sad at the same time. Night came, as it does. At 12:01 a.m., the clock in the hall ticked twice and then stopped. The silence around me felt stretched, like the air itself held its breath. I counted in my head 1, 2, 3, then remembered rule 3. Do not count out loud after midnight. I pressed my lips together. A small thing tapped on the inside of the little door, not like knuckles now, but like a finger running gently along the wood grain. Polite, patient, sure. "Lily," the voice said from behind the door. It was my voice again, but it had learned. Better, it had learned warmth. It had learned a laugh that sounded like mine. "Please, I lost my marble." I picked up the green marble. It was cool and smooth. I rolled it in my palm. I said, "I found it." May I come in to get it? The voice asked. The question was pure, clean, and careful. It was built so that a polite person would say yes by instinct. No, I said, but I will slide it under. I knelt, keeping my body back, and rolled the marble through the salt to the bottom of the door. It clicked against the wood and stopped. The salt line had made a tiny ridge. The marble would not pass under without lifting it a little. Please, the voice said, tender, almost embarrassed. I can't reach. Would you be so kind as to open, just a little? Only a crack. You can keep the chain on. I promise I won't. Come in without an invitation. I felt a strange smile tug at my mouth, like my face was trying on a new mask. I forced it away. I said, no. Silence. Then the door shivered, as if something behind it leaned close, cheek to wood. You said, my name today, it whispered, almost shy. That was polite. I didn't answer. If fear is heavy, courage is heavier. It asks you to hold it even when your arms shake. I did something then that I am not proud of. I broke a rule to try to keep another. I began to count. Not out loud. In my head, 1 to 10, 10 to 1, again and again. I pressed my hands over my ears and hummed. The voice behind the door began to hum too, the same tune, like we were two people who knew the same lullaby. I bit my lip hard enough to taste iron dot. Then the softest thing happened. The salt line in front of the door began to move. It didn't blow or scatter. It slid. A tiny white stream, grain by grain, was drawn under the door as if by static or breath. I watched it vanish. Polite, patient, sure, when the last crystal slipped away. The marble rolled forward by itself and clicked. Under the door, the thing behind the wood made a small, pleased sound. A sound so human it hurt. Thank you, it said. The handle turned. I grabbed the lantern and turned it to full. The bright light flooded the small space. The handle stopped. The voice sighed. Not angry, not scared, only disappointed. You always make things bright, it said. That is also polite. I don't know why I said it next. Maybe I wanted to pretend I had power. Maybe I needed words to push back the dread. What are you? I asked. 3, it said. The third knock. The third step on the stairs. When you climb in the dark. The third breath you hold when you swim too long. The third thing you forget and then remember too late. I am the polite shape that waits. I am what looks like you, so you will not be afraid to open.